I was here first at Groundswell probably 6 or 7 years ago, and at the time we weren't we weren't talking soil health sentences, soil health. We weren't we weren't really talking about regenerative ag. We were definitely talking about the soils having problems. How can we change agriculture so that that is not happening? This year, soil health, regenerative ag, that is what we hear. And some people think, oh, regenerative ag, we don't really know what it is. I think I kind of disagree with that. I think that we're still working out the details on regenerative ag in terms of realizing that, oh, what they do in California for regenerative ag, like that's different than in the UK, that's different than other states in the US, that's different than other countries. And the biggest thing I think about regenerative ag and lining it up with soil health and getting people to talk about it is that it's kind of emblematic of moving away from the kind of agriculture that's looking for all of this standardization, all of this notion that we have to do everything everywhere all the same. Because the fact is, things are completely different everywhere, right? Cameroon versus California and so on, it's just not the same, and we shouldn't expect practices, crops, and so on to be the same. And so when we talk about regenerative, there are these broad principles about minimal disruption to the soil, both physical and chemical. We want the ground covered at all times, and not with monocultures, with a diversity of crops. We know this feeds the soil biology, and we know where we can and where farmers want to. Bringing animals back onto farms is a big part of this. So you take these broad principles and you figure out the specific practices for your piece of ground and for your crop, and then that's the evolution of regenerative. And I hope that in future years, people will be coming here and saying, hey, I want to let you know what I found out about how to apply these principles in the place that I live with the environmental conditions that I have. And we're not going to get it right away, and it's going to be hard, and things will need to change. But in the end, I think the more we understand that these regenerative practices, and so in my talk, I talk about the actual definition of the word regeneration, regenerative. And the part of the definition I really like is that this is a normal process. So, right, we fall down, skin our knee, we get up, that skin's regenerated. The soil, we can get life back into that soil. Life is a driving vital force, and soil wants to have life in it. It's just that you hammer it too much with plowing and chemicals, and it is really hard for the soil microbiome to do much. So I think in future years we're going to be, further opening, the lid on this, so to speak, and further unraveling all of these details that tell us what regenerative is, how can we keep on this track, and how can we keep learning.